Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Thomas the Grapevine Picker, and today I'm going to talk about shipping books for fulfillment by Amazon. That is Amazon FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. So this is a scenario, this is the problem. I send 2 boxes of books. That's my goal. That's what I try to do every week, just 2 boxes. Sometimes it ends up being 1 box, but my goal is to try and do 2 boxes of books. I have a full-time job, so it's not always possible to do 2 boxes. And by 2 boxes, I mean 2 full boxes of close to 50 pounds worth of books. Amazon will not allow you to send in more than 50 pounds in 1 box. They limit the weight. Now, an additional issue is that when you do send in your books, or when you attempt to create the shipment to send in your books, Amazon can decide to split your box, your 50-pound box of books, into separate shipments. They can tell you, hey, I need you to send 30 books here, 10 books there, 5 books here. Now, depending on the size of your operation and how many boxes you're attempting to send into Amazon FBA every day, every week, it might be worth it to look into a certain setting that tells Amazon, hey, don't split up my shipment because it takes more time to create different boxes of books. Now that setting is here. You go to this little settings and you go to fulfillment by Amazon. Scroll down, and right where it says inbound settings, there's an edit button. And in the edit button, there's this setting called inventory placement options, defaulted to distributed inventory placement. You can change this to inventory placement service. Now that service tells Amazon, hey, my 50-pound box of books, don't split it. In return, I will pay 35 cents for each book in that box. Now when you get the box of books in your warehouse, you can split it up and send it however you like. But from the seller's perspective, the seller doesn't want to split up the shipment when they are sending it to the fulfillment center. Now, again, I tested this, and I found that based on the size of my operation, again, like I said, I try and send 1 or 2 boxes a week. A box is around between 40 and 50 books. And that gives that comes up to 46, 47, 48 pounds. I usually don't want to create a box that is more than 48 pounds. I try not to get into the 40 because Amazon has a hard cap at 50 pounds. And if you go over 50 pounds, you get penalized. I don't want to get into the penalty zone. So for my size of operation, if I create a list of books in ScanLister, I use ScanLister. Then I click the button in ScanLister to tell ScanLister, okay, now create the FBA shipment. ScanLister then migrates that list of books, however many, into Amazon. Amazon now starts to process and think, where do I want these books to go? And Amazon will usually say, send 38 books to Memphis, send 3 or 4 books to Fort Worth, Texas, or wherever. My size of operation, sometimes it is worth it to split the shipments. Okay, I tested this setting, and I found that when I started doing books FBA, I wasn't using ScanLister or GoToList. I was just using the web application for Amazon. and it is cumbersome. The web application for Amazon was not designed for book resellers, in my opinion. It wasn't designed for bulk book resellers. If you're sending in 10 books at a time, 5 books at a time, you don't need a specialized application like ScanLista or GoToLista to create your shipment. You can just use the web application. Basically go to Amazon Central and say, add an item and scan your book, and it will create a list of the books that you want to send, and then you can send them in. But when you're sending in 40 books multiple times a week, you need a third-party software. Amazon, the Amazon Seller Central software, this one, and by that I mean, let me change this back to default. By that I mean going here to inventory. Is it catalog, add product, scanning your book ISBN here, and then putting in your price, and then adding it to your FBA shipment. It wasn't designed for book resellers. Too many clicks, too many steps, and then even when it does create a list of books, it's really, you cannot specifically pick the books that you want to ship. It mixes your books up with the books that you already sent. It doesn't create a unique specific list for your new shipment. At least not in my experience. Seller Central was not optimized for book resellers. That is why there are products like ScanLista and GoToLista that you pay a monthly fee for. I pay ScanLista every month to create those shipments. But for my operation, I found that, going back to the problem of Amazon asking you to split the shipments, I found that if you use the web-based Seller Central system to send in books to fulfillment centers, Amazon does not ask you to split your shipment up. I don't know about you all, but that is my experience. The moment I started using ScanLista, then I started to see that Amazon is requiring me to split, say, 30 books and send them here, 20 books, send them there. But for as long as I was using Seller Central, which is the free Amazon provided application for you to scan books and send them into FBA, Amazon did not ask me to split up my books and send them all over the place. I was always able to create one box of my 45 or however many books and send them to one fulfillment center. But then it got to the point where I realized that it wasn't optimized for book resellers because it wasn't a clean process. You could do it, but it was so frustrating. There are days where I would spend a whole day, I'm talking 4 hours, of just sitting in front of the computer trying to fight with the application to create a shipment of books to send into FBA. Eventually, I think after maybe 4 or 5 shipments, I finally decided I'm going to pay ScanLista. I researched ScanLista and GoToLista and figured out ScanLista I think is like $45 a month. GoToLista is $45 a month at the time of filming. ScanLista is about $29, $25. I paid something like $25 a month for ScanLista, and I did not see any advantage for. And the reason I say I'm comparing ScanLista and GoToLista is because they are the two top applications. I think there's one called Excellalist, something like that, and it is also costly. ScanLista does the job just fine. I haven't had any problems, so they're not a sponsor of the video, but that's what I use. You might find other advantages with other applications. I'm just telling you my experience. Using ScanLista has been great, but It is only when I started using ScanList that I noticed Amazon is splitting up my shipments. So you can turn on that setting, a service that will charge you 35 cents a book. What I found out, roughly I was paying an extra $15 for every shipment. What does that mean? I create a shipment, I migrate it into Amazon. Amazon looks through the list of books, decides to split them up, okay? But the moment I turned on that setting, that service, to keep them into one box, I was paying about $15 extra per box of books that I was sending into FBA. So it saved me time. Because of how much I'm making right now in profits on Amazon FBA, $15 is significant enough that I would rather keep that and use it to buy inventory. What I found is whenever Amazon would require me to split up the box, I would scan 45 books, for instance, and Amazon would say, send us 39 books. Send 39 books to Memphis. Send 6 books to Fort Worth, Texas. Eventually, what I started to do is that I would hold off those 6 books. Basically, I would go back into ScanList, and all this process is being done before you migrate the list into Amazon. I would go into ScanList and delete those 6 books, delete those 3 books, delete those 2 books. And this is an instance where Amazon has created 2 shipments, right? 2 shipments. One, and usually what has happened in my case, I don't know about you, but usually what has happened in my case is that if I have these 45 books, Amazon will ask me to send the bulk of my books to Memphis. I live in Texas. It would ask me to send the bulk of my books to Memphis and a few books to Dallas, Fort Worth. So what I started doing is that I would hold the few books, I'd go back into ScanList, delete those specific books from the shipment, rerun the create shipment process, and then Amazon would say, oh, well, if you just want to send those 38, 39, 40 books, one box, send it to Memphis. So I would take that smaller pile of books, set it aside for the next shipment. So that when the next shipment come around, I would now relist those books again and see what the results were. Now, this has not happened yet, but if Amazon was to tell me, send 25 books to Memphis and send 20 books to Dallas, Fort Worth, I'll do it. If it's a more or less even split, it's fine. For the size of my operation, again, for me, it will come a point as I scale where I'm doing 1 box a day, 2 boxes a day. Then it will become so much time consuming for me to split up shipments that I'll turn on the service. But right now, there's no need. The whole gist of this video is that you don't need to turn on that service. I have seen a few videos out there suggesting that you do it from the jump. Just do it from the jump. I wouldn't suggest it, personally. You can do it. I wouldn't suggest it based on the size of your operation. If you're sending just a few books every week, there's no need to turn on that service. But it is good to know that it exists, so that when you scale and you're sending multiple boxes a week or a day, you know that you can just pack your box, let them charge you the extra $15 per box, $12 per box, however many dollars per box, because it will save you time, and time is money. But for now, I want to take that saving, reinvest it into inventory, because you know the game. You have to feed the Amazon beast. You have to feed the Amazon machine. You have to keep that inventory going into FBA, because then Amazon will you'll win the buy box. You'll find that you're selling more books. Then the more books you send in, the algorithm, I don't know, the more books you send in, the more books you'll sell. So I hope this was helpful. Again, this is Thomas, the Grapevine Picker. Consider subscribing. I am a new seller. My store is small. I don't even have issues with you seeing how much they are planning to pay me this next 2 week pay period. Currently, this is the amount they are going to send to my bank, which is a nice amount for a side hustle. This is how much I've sold today, $51 worth of books. This is gross sales. This is not net, but this is net for the last for the 2 week period that I'm going to get paid. So again, it's I'm relatively new to this, and I'm seeing results. And the purpose of this video is to just give you some tips on how to optimize and have a better experience with Amazon FBA. And I hope it was helpful. Again, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again later.